Hey guys, today on the show we were talking about the last 2 episodes with Jonathan Fields, our takeaways, what we learned. We talked about starting over and not caring about what other people think about us starting over, and their opinions do not really matter, and so much more. Of course, our camera kept going out, so poor Kelsey and Pooja had to edit this many, many times, but we pushed on through because we wanted to share with you what we got out of this. So maybe it'll help spark something in you. Ooh, did I just say spark? I think I did. Okay, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on those notifications. We'll see you soon.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Better Together. When you know better, you get better. That's what we try to do here every single day. I don't have a quote of the day. Kelsey.
Quote of the day.
I totally forgot.
I forgot our quote of the day too.
Our quote of the day is, sometimes there's no quote of the day and you just gotta like it.
Yeah. I think that was beautiful.
You know, Kelsey, I think in the last episode with Jonathan, we gave a very extended quote in a sense. So I think that that's okay.
That's true.
And so, oh no.
Uh-oh.
Kevin just sent me a text. Oh.
Is it a quote of the day?
Oh, hopefully they're okay. Someone we know just had a health situation, but he said it's okay. They're stable.
Scary.
That's life, guys. So tell everybody you know you love them at every turn because you just never know what's going to happen around the corner. Listen, I'm coming to you with my bright yellow top on. So if you're not watching us on YouTube, you should hit subscribe on YouTube to Better Together with Maria. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss an episode and come join us and be visually with us. But if you can't, it's totally cool because if you're just on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and you're just listening, it's not just listening. I'm going to describe. It's a very soft yellow top. It's got some gray little striping things, gray, green. Oh, it's actually kind of green. Anyway.
It looks very comfortable.
It is super comfortable.
It's a cute, cozy, sort of like chic. I mean, t-shirts are my everything. I love a good t-shirt. I can't speak.
Well, you know what's funny is I'm wearing these perforated little leather shorts.
Whoa.
That I've had maybe like 10 years.
No way.
See?
Oh, they're cute.
But like they're low rider.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know, they're not like of today.
Right.
But I paired them with this little thing and I'm kind of liking it. And
it's working.
And I'm good.
It's working for you.
I've been trying to use more of my closet. I'm like, if I'm going to have this closet, I have to start using it. And I'm very into some of these baggier options. And so I'm just enjoying my closet.
I love that. You know, she comes down in these outfits and I'm like, that's cute. Where's that from? She's like, thanks. I found it in my closet. I'm like,
this is super old, but I'm making it new. Oh, this is H&M or yeah, it's fun.
I think that is fun.
Yeah. Because it's so easy to be stuck in a rut and wear the same thing over
especially if you,
and
and
over.
We've talked about this before, but especially if you can't see it. If you can't, that's why when Marie Kondo, her whole Netflix special came out and she taught us the trick of like folding your shirts so you can see them all. Mm-hmm. Girl, did that change my life? Yes.
Yes.
Because then I can actually see which shirt I have.
Yeah. And I think you got to go through your closet sometimes. Like, I tried on a couple things this morning and I was like, that doesn't fit. And I'm not going to try to make it fit anymore. Even though they're cute, they're
so
out.
I'm going to get rid of it.
So I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's that. And that's just the end of it. So sometimes you just got to do that. Here we are. And I wanted to chat about our conversation this week with Jonathan Fields because his book really made such an impact on me. You know, we always talk on the show about being seen and how important it is to see people. And, you know, it's a really nice thing to take a minute to share something with somebody where it's like, you know, I really think you're great because of this, or that was really great because of this, or whatever. Just see people because it so rarely happens, because especially in today's day and age with Instagram and social media, everyone's so me, that it's like, You? We used to do that all the time. There was somebody in our life where we used to do it for that person specifically, but now it applies to just life in general. It's like me, 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 me. You?
That's hilarious.
And so the book really helped me see my kind of true nature. And maybe if I did this 10 years ago or 20 years ago, there would have been differences. I don't think so, because as I look at the through lines of everything, there was always that underlying current of, I love helping people. I love learning. I love getting better. That's why Better Together. And so it's so interesting when you dig deep and you start to realize, like, oh, someone when I was young told me this and I just held it so tightly and I made it law. Stop allowing people to tell you who you are. And that was one of the really great moments we had with the housewife from Atlanta.
Wendy Osefo.
Wendy Osefo said, you got to know who you are so you can never let anyone tell you who you are. It was something to that effect.
Yeah.
And that really lasted with me too. And so I do think that getting to know who you are is a journey. There was a really great Instagram post, Lewis House, one of my new friends, shared with Brene Brown. He was doing an interview and he was admitting that he's still finding himself and learning about himself. And I do think it's a discovery process. And when Brene Brown says she's still trying, I'm like, yes, okay. That means we don't all have to have it figured out.
But I think that's the reality. We don't all have it figured out. And that's where, like, social media, as great as it can also be so toxic, because we think everyone has it figured out and they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I really admire those people who do share that they don't have it figured out, to help us be like, oh, okay. All right. It's okay that I don't have it figured out then.
Yeah. Well, that's why I always try to be so honest about everything so that people don't think that I have it all figured out, that it's all perfect behind the scenes. And no, I'm struggling with all the same things everybody else is struggling with. I just have either figured out how to do it despite that fear or that worry or whatever it is. Or maybe I have mastered certain areas and the other areas are still lagging, but it just is what it is. But it was so great to start to unpack, why didn't I think I was a nurturer? Like, I started volunteering with the elderly when I was in, I think, junior high or something. And I loved reading to them. And I was one of the things that he talks about, I think in the warrior part, is that sometimes people think you're bossy. And I was like, oh my God, I was such a boss. Like, and not in the like girl boss way, like not in those ways. I was a boss because I had to run my household. My parents didn't speak English. I had to be the one who translated everything. I had to help handle all of that kind of stuff. So at a young age, there was a lot put on me to have to be responsible. And so when I would work with these people, it was the Malden Hospital and in Massachusetts. And I remember the patients thought I was like their doctor because I was super mature for my age always. I always played 10 years older than I ever was. So even at 13, people thought I was in my 20s. And so they would always ask, can I get more medication? Can you up this? And I'm like, that's not my area. I'm just here to read to you, but let me get somebody. But yeah, I don't know why I didn't think I was a nurturer. I mean, I know now.
Do you want to know my theory?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because when I literally wrote this down while you were saying it, I think your dad telling you, well, first of all, you've always been a nurturer and you knew that. So it was like, he didn't validate that when he said that. And he validated the other person who was not doing anything. So I think that stuck with you, like, subconsciously. And you were like, oh, no, I'm not that, because you were doing the most and have forever. So you're doing the most and someone's not telling you you're doing it at all. And so you're like, oh, I guess I'm not that then. So I think that, like, subconsciously that's, something that has stuck with you for forever.
Yeah.
And I think we all kind of have little things like that. Like, even I was saying to Jonathan, like with my performer thing, I was always told like, you're the crazy one and I'm like, no, I just like, that's just who I am. That's what I like to do. It's not a bad thing. So that's what I literally wrote that down. I was like, ooh, I have to tell Maria that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I knew as soon as he was talking and as soon as it all was coming together, I'm like, oh, my dad said this to me and it stuck with me. So, and then even Kevin, like, I kind of like my head would spin a little bit when I was taking care of my mom and he was seeing the softer side of me. And I don't think he also understood that I had to be the tough coach. I had to be that for my mom because when she was weak, I had to be the one who was strong to say, no, Mom, we got to keep walking. We got to keep moving because if you don't move, you're going to lose it. And then we're going to have another problem. Like, let's just, I had to keep pushing her. So sometimes I had to be the bad guy. I had to be the tough one.
Well, and you also, like you said, you never had the time to give that. The nurturing often takes time and, you sit and you didn't have the time. You were like busy working so that you can fund her, like, staying alive.
Yeah.
Right. So I just think that all those little things that we hear from others stick with us. And so you are their nurturer. When you told me that, I was like, duh, like 1000%. But anyways, it's wild.
It's funny. It's funny because I was like, Kevin, I'm like, okay, so she's in a stage where what am I going to do? Be like, get up and move, Mom. You're bedridden. Like I have to shift. But I also think that, there's that period when we went to Connecticut was really important for me because that was the moment where I had to start meeting my mom where she was at. And that's hard in caretaking. There's so many different stages, and in illness there's so many stages that you have to come to grips with, that you have to accept. And I wasn't willing to accept that she didn't want to try anymore, right? Because here we've been on this journey and, we were doing so great. And I had to meet her where she was at, and I had to accept and surrender. So that time away in Connecticut where I could A, catch my breath, B, recalibrate and realize that was really helpful because when unfortunately we had to come back here, and coming back here meant, her getting COVID and my dad getting COVID and now me really having to step into that role. It was such an important time for me to be prepared for that. That's why there are no coincidences in life, guys. And whether it's God or the universe or Buddha, whatever it is you believe in, I believe that there is a path that is set that's happening. We're going to walk through it and we're going to make our choices as we walk through it. And that's going to kind of dictate where you go. But, it was meant to be that I was away for that time. It was meant to be that I was able to come back recharged and ready. As I look back, I would have been dead. There would be no way I could have survived taking care of my mom, dealing with all of that, because I'm also taking care of my dad and emotionally and all of that as well. And then stepping into the COVID situation. And then, of course, my mom's decline. That never would have been doable. It was barely doable as it was. So, but yeah, and having someone validate the nurturer part, because I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to be a performer, but I'm not.
And how cool how he explained it different to you and explained it different to me, right? Like how you are a performer, but you're nurturing through your performance, right? And that's what he was kind of saying to me as well. And I just think it's so interesting. It's like we always want to put ourselves or other people in these boxes. That's just not how it works. And I think that that's why I loved this. It's like, even if I get the performer and you get the performer, we're different performers.
Yeah. And some of it is expressed like you could be a performer and be a lawyer. Right?
Right.
You could be a performer and be, a podcast host. You could be a performer and be an actress. There are different modes of
barista.
Performing. You could be a teacher.
Yeah.
You're performing. You have a captive audience that you have to engage, that you have to get excited, that you've got to bring their energy levels up. All the things that we're doing as performers in our respective worlds are what you have to do too. So it is really fascinating. But I think it's so cool in our dynamic in here to see how we were all drawn to this, right? Like does P have a headset?
Yeah,
Can
she
she
does.
talk?
Uh-huh.
So
She's not going to want to, but she does.
Pooja, who her number one is essentialist,
Nurturer.
nurturer, then essentialist. Okay, so you're like, I do not want to be on camera, which is such a refreshing thing in life sometimes because everybody wants to be famous now. But it's like you were drawn to come intern for us. And then, so tell me a little bit about why you think you were brought into this world.
So crazy. Kind of like Jonathan, my whole plan, like my whole college career was to go to law school, literally up until I got this internship because I just never knew like a way into this industry. It didn't seem possible just because there was no one really in my family or anyone that I knew, even my peers that were going this route. So I was like, oh, whatever. It's just like something that's like a dream, right? Not going to happen for me, whatever. I can do law. Like, I'm down with that. And then I got this internship super, super random through Patty Penn, which you guys know and love.
I didn't know that's how you got to us.
Oh,
She's
yeah. Patty sent her to me, Maria, like after we had already vetted a class. We already had a class. And I told Jeff, I was like, I trust Patty. We got to look at her.
Yeah.
No way.
She's my cousin's Reiki lady.
Yep.
So random. And then you guys let me join the team and I was so grateful and I was like, this is the one shot I got to do this. Like I mean, I loved working with you guys and Kelsey specifically. We worked together a lot, but I was like, this is Pooja. This is the one chance. Like prove yourself. Do it. Like come on, girl. And then Kelsey pitched me, I guess, to Kevin. And then here we are now.
Wow.
But yeah,
Crazy,
so
right?
wild. Also, I think it's crazy that Kelsey mentioned is that we're all nurturers. Like it's all in our archetype scam, like one way or the other. And yeah, I've always, even when I wanted to be a lawyer, I wanted to be like an immigration lawyer for people that couldn't afford it. Like that's what I did through my internships was all, So basically whatever I was going to do, whatever type of lawyer I was going to be, I wanted it to be helping people, not necessarily corporate. So it's so crazy that the show that I got onto starting in the entertainment industry was one that helps people, which I think is not super common in this field. So I was like, wow, what a coincidence that,
but not
I guess not a coincidence now that I think about it, but just how the stars aligned that I was still able to feed that nurture side of me that wanted to help people, but also combine it with my passion of creating content. So anyway, I just think it's pretty cool how it all worked out and I'm very grateful.
It really is. But now the thing that I love in the book is you can pursue a career in law and be a nurturer because now you would find the specific area, like you said, you were going to work in immigration that would feed that part of you. So I thought that was really helpful when he said like you can do it in so many different ways. But yeah, it is funny to see kind of our team come together and it's like the chemistry is starting to just poof, like we're starting to know what everyone's good at. Everybody's able to do their thing and we're firing on all cylinders and it's exciting. I literally texted Kevin today and I'm like, I'm really excited about our team right now. P was like the missing element, I think. And
'cause we all complement each other.
Yeah.
Like we do. I was saying that to Pooj yesterday. I'm like, oh, we got to do this and this. She's like, oh, great. That makes me excited. And I was like, thank God, because it doesn't make me excited.
Yeah.
But she like, and there's things that she doesn't want to do that I'm like, hell yeah. So I just think that's.
But that's great because we've had in the past, people were trying to pull or people who were like, their attention was on other things and we didn't know. And everyone's lovely. It's not that people aren't lovely. It's just, you need that, like, everyone wants to like tend to the common goal. If everyone's got their own side goals, like we can't achieve anything. We all have to be focused on the goal, which is to make this the number one show and help people with our content. So the only way we're going to make it number one is by helping everybody. And by that having a ripple effect that makes everyone say, oh, I want to spend my days with these guys. Like this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be part of the Heal Squad.
Dang right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. It's exciting.
So, so yeah. And I think Jonathan's story is so great because as we were talking about the other day, you don't always hear from the male perspective that the career was, you know, taking them down in a sense and that they had to make a switch. Most guys are like, they power through and that's what they do. And it was nice to hear his story and his perspective. And I also really loved the idea of bringing your own fresh perspective. So if you don't know anything, that could be your total asset in that company.
You know, I was trying to remember the one thing he said that really stuck out to me, that it was when he said that he was more fearful of what other people thought, even when he was like, I don't think that I'm someone who cares what other people think. To me, it just like it just brought us all to an equal playing field. You know, it's like guys feel that, females feel that, freaking everyone feels that. And to me, I don't know, I really enjoyed hearing his story because I feel like I just fully empathized with that. I was like, damn.
I think that whether you're conditioned to worry about what other people think or not, it's going to be a natural emotion or a natural fear inside of you. For me, that was something that was embedded into me so deeply. Like all that mattered is what everybody thought of me, which is so crazy because then you go into this business of being on camera and really everyone's judgment of you is what matters in a sense, right? So it's a little dangerous. It's a very scary.
That gives me anxiety.
Yeah, very scary kind of sea to jump into. But I think that no matter what, everyone's going to have some level of that, and that's what I think stops people from going forward with something that is kind of tugging at them. And so I think that's where I always talk about like just, you know, forget about the fear because it's not helping you. Fear is there to help you in some ways. And you have to just kind of listen to your gut at the end of the day as well, because we can all be very contradictory, right? Like, so I'm telling you, don't be afraid, just go for it. But then at the same time, you might be in the right place and you might not be tackling in the right way. Like he said, you might be in the exact place you need to be. You just need to figure out how to make it work for you a little better.
And you know what else, kind of going off that he said that I loved was like what would happen, he asked himself, what would happen if I applied my work ethic in a space that actually filled me up instead of one that emptied me? Instead of being scared, whatever other people thought, because you had to start at the beginning again, why don't you just question what would happen if I did this?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn.
Yeah.
That was huge.
That was huge because there's so much self-doubt we have to work through. And depending on your age, you're like, I'm too tired. I don't know if I can do this again, whatever this is. I mean, it's huge for me because I'm kind of starting anew and diving into the entrepreneurial space a little bit deeper. And there's, a lot of fears that come along with that, a lot of insecurities, like, can I do this? Am I smart enough to do this? And then I look at people and I'm like, well, yeah, if you can do it, I can do it. Why can't I? Mm-hmm. So then you got to talk to yourself. And then when Jonathan says, I can take that hard work that I know I'm capable of and put it into something new, why wouldn't I get similar results? Right? Mm-hmm. Like, why not? Mm-hmm. I know that I was working, I can do more in a day generally. Nowadays, maybe not like I used to, but I know I can produce. I know I can hustle. I know I'm capable of so much. So yeah, that just really gave me so much insight and so much confidence for myself that I can only imagine what it's going to do for somebody else who hasn't felt like it's really possible.
I think for me too, it just like going back to what he said before, it all comes down to, because if you look at that and I'd be like, yeah, I can apply myself the same. But the only reason we're not is because we're scared what other people are going to think. And holy hell, why are we letting other people's perceptions of us hold us back.
Why? They
Like,
don't pay your bills.
no.
You don't know. It's not their job to even like, yeah, no.
And also, you think that they're thinking that? Are they actually thinking that?
Exactly.
Like, do you actually think that about someone else? No. If someone it has gotten sick or whatever and wants to start a new thing, I'm like, go after it. That's what most people are thinking. It's just crazy. And I don't know how we've gotten to this place of just
Judgment.
Yeah, but oof.
That's why
baby.
Gabby Bernstein's judgment detox is so important.
Yeah.
We haven't done an episode with her about that, but we
should.
really need to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, there's just so much judgment. And I think that if we really worked on having our judgment detox, we would be so much better. But yeah, it's one of the things that I've been doing in this kind of new moment, new season, and as we're, working on this rebrand of the show and what we want everything to be like and how we want to make it a better experience, and not just for you guys, but also for us, how we can make this a little bit more simple and streamlined, because it's a lot still to do this. And when we started every day, it was from that kind of desire, my nurturer / sage desire to be with everybody every day. And then you're like, oh shit, I have to be with everybody every day. There's a lot to do. So we're trying to make this all better in every way. And then adding kind of the website component, where I really want it to be a destination for you guys to go and get, more information, more tips, and kind of just more help, and have your hub that you can go to every day. And so I'm like, well, I don't know how to do a blog. I've never done a blog before in my life. That sounds like a mountain to climb. Well, then you ask for guidance like I did the other day, and boom, on Instagram, what comes up? This woman, Christina, who's offering a free how to get your blog going class going. Okay, well, yeah, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to take the class. Guys, I learned so much on that show, in that class. And so when you don't know, just know there are resources out there that you can tap into. And there are a lot of free resources that you can tap into to acquire the knowledge that's going to make you feel more confident. So if you're lacking the confidence in different areas, know that that's totally normal. And it's something that I deal with and everybody else deals with. But the difference is we're not going to let it stop us and paralyze us. We're going to go out and get that information. Now, one of the things that I think has been really helpful for me is just asking God, the universe, to continue to bring these people to me, to continue to bring these lessons to me. So I think it flows maybe a little faster. And so I highly encourage that you create a practice spiritually that you can rely on to help you, because I just see it almost like when people talk about visualization, and I know that so much of my success, I visualized everything down to what this house looked like. I was like, I'm going to have a house. It's going to be so big. It's going to look like the White House, and we're going to need intercoms to be able to talk to each other. Now, we don't necessarily have intercoms. There were intercoms when we first bought it. We took them out. But, and it's not that big, of course, but it does look like the White House, and it is big. And everything that I said and visualized manifested, even down to like my first luxury car. We're in our little 1-bedroom apartment, couldn't even buy razors. And I was online searching, and I was just researching and dreaming of my car. And it happened very soon after. Who would have thunk it? Not me. So anyhow, guys, behind the scenes, if you hear some edit points in the show, it's because the camera kept dying and Kelsey had to keep coming in. Our camera is tired. So
She's very tired. Very tired.
Bitch, come on now.
Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Oh, I was going to say something though, Maria.
ahead.
I had a good point, and it kind of went off of what you were saying. Another thing I liked that he was talking about, as long as you're in a path of learning and on a growth process, you're good. And I think that so often when we're making these switches or want to make these, we don't know what we're doing and this and that. As long as you are trying to just keep learning, even when it's really, really hard, it doesn't have to be massive. Every day doing something a little bit that's keeping you growing, then you're good.
Then you're good. Exactly. I think there's so much FOMO in this world that everyone's like, oh, no, I got to be doing this. And no, my heart says this. I got to go do this. And then you're like, wait, if you just took a minute to just sit down and really evaluate, like he said, don't quit your job. Really sit down and start evaluating and asking yourself really deep questions to get to the place that you need to be. I have a friend, his name is Jason, and he used to say, as long as every year you can look back and you did 5 to 10% better than the last year, not financially, just overall, those little incremental changes make a big difference over time. And so I don't think we need to have all this pressure on us. I think that unfortunately, that's where, we start to go awry, is by putting all this undue pressure on ourselves. And we all do it, right? Like even up till days ago, I thought I was supposed to be an expert at everything. I'm supposed to know how to blog and how to use Pinterest to my advantage and blah, 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 and all this stuff. Well, guess what? We're learning. And so thank you, Jenna Kutcher. Thank you, Marie Forleo. Thank you, this girl, Christine, who, helped me with the blog thing. Like I'm acquiring as much knowledge as I can. And as Kevin was really good, I finally got to talk to him because he's so busy. He's knee deep in renovations again. I realized he has been in LA for maybe like a total of 3 weeks this in a whole year. Like that'll be this. Yeah. Anyway.
Crazy.
He was like, just relax. Everything's gonna get figured out. And basically, like Marie says, everything's figure outable.
Great book.
We're going to get there. And
because we're growing. We're every day we're learning and growing.
That's it. We're learning and we're growing every day. As long as that's what we're doing, no one's slacking. No one's like, chilling and not doing stuff. We're all working towards a common goal. We'll get there. We might bump our heads. We might make a mistake. Oh, gosh, God forbid we make a mistake. We're going to get there.
I agree. And
Just do not spill coffee on my hard drives. Those mistakes we can't have, ladies.
We will not. We have not, for the record.
I don't know why that popped in my head.
Because that's something that would really hold us back.
This is true.
Right? I think we need to do a whole episode on FOMO because that is so massive, especially with, freaking social media. You think everyone's doing something.
Yeah.
And FOMO. I get FOMO. I don't like sleeping. I know I should sleep, but like if I know it's ridiculous. I've
not good for your stomach, Kelsey.
Definitely not. But it's like if it's 9:00 or something and I'm like, yes, I can go home and go to sleep. Then I have FOMO that I'm missing out on something that I'm like between those hours of like 9 and 12. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I actually had someone tell me that has something to do with, I don't know. It's like when you're so exhausted, then it's like you want to have those hours to like do something. So it's an actual thing.
No, I know what it is because that happens to me too. Like I'll be so tired and I'm like, but I need some of my own time now.
Yes.
And so you need your own time. And so that's when you're like after I'll shoot an episode of, let's say, a Roku Recommends. If you're not watching Roku Recommends, go to the Roku Recommends show on Roku, and I will tell you what to watch on TV every week. And so anyhow, when I'm done, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm tired, but I want to see people. I want to have a dinner, or I want to. Now, does it ever really happen? No, because by the time I'm ready to do something, nobody's around, and I don't want to schedule it because if it's in my calendar now, I'm dreading it. So there's a huge issue there that needs to get fixed. I probably need to work on the calendar trauma with Brian Mahan.
Calendar trauma. I understand where that comes from for you though, because of your jobs.
Everything was calendared and call timed, and I barely had pee breaks. And by the way, no, I'm not blaming that on anybody, but just how it was and how much I took on. 'Cause I've had people accuse me and say, I didn't even get a pee break. I'm like, I didn't know I was in charge of your pee break.
Oh my God.
You had full autonomy to go do whatever you want. You want to leave, go get your lunch. You want to go pee.
I used to get in trouble for going to the bathroom. So that's an actual thing.
Wow. Well,
that's another story.
Well,
but I don't get in trouble by Maria for going to the bathroom.
Nope. What was my?
But you were okay. So calendar trauma, but you want to do something at the end of the night.
Oh yeah. So that's
day.
Your thing is like you're putting so much of your energy into your work that you're like, oh, but I need something for myself. But I will tell you, one of the greatest things Kevin taught me along the way is he's like, you know what you really need, and I'm like, what? He goes, sleep.
So true.
And I would have burned out so much faster if I didn't listen to him. Now, I think that there is that thing that you can look forward to once a week where it's like you have a Friday night dinner with your friends and you know you can look forward to it and you can have that in there and you're going to get it. Because I learned from Dimitri, my friend, he would have died if he didn't have some social activity to look forward to. And you're single, so it's different, right? Like I have Kevin, so I can have my social activity with Kevin staying in and watching Netflix, right? Or whatever. It's still not enough, but I can pass.
Right.
I still need my friends and I still need people and their energy as well. But I will say at the end of a night, your best blessing is to like
Sleep.
get some sleep.
You're right. He always says sleep's the best medicine.
Trust me, he trained me and taught me. Oh, that's my alarm.
This show.
This show is hilarious. I actually have a new glioblastoma patient that I have to help right now in literally 4 minutes. So that was my alarm to make sure I didn't miss that call. But sleep is so, so important. But I think if you have one thing scheduled, which you've been really good, like you're going
great.
on your weekends, you're going to Laguna Beach, you're having your fun. So don't think you have to do it every night.
Yeah.
Just go to sleep, do your meditation, do something that's self-care at the end of the night, a face mask, a tea that's going to relax you. That's your during the week. And then on your weekend, have your fun. And then I always say allot the last half of your Sunday to getting ready for your week.
Yep.
So you're not overwhelmed when you show up on Monday.
Oh, I have to.
You got your food prep or whatever. You've got your clothes cleaned. You know that, this is what I'm tackling this week. Here are the big ticket items, whatever it is.
Make your list. Let me just tell you guys before Maria has to jump on this call. You know what I've been doing? And I'm so proud of myself every morning. So Brian Mahan, who we had on the show, he moved to Mexico, right? So a couple weeks ago, he had this going away party yard sale thing, and he had this amazing little meditation cushion. And I have a corner of my room that I would just sit on the floor, but it wasn't as fun just sitting on the floor. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, you should take this." He gave it to me, and it's the most special little meditation cushion.
Aww.
So every morning, I'm not kidding you, like I will throw myself onto this thing, and I've just been doing even 5 minutes in silence.
That's great.
It's amazing.
I love it.
It's amazing. And I have to use it because he gave it to me. Like, it's been so nice. So I think even if you can do 5 minutes, and I used to be that person that someone would say that to me and I was like, shut up. I don't have 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes. So anyways,
you do.
I wanted to share
You
that.
just have to make yourself a priority. This morning, I was like, you know what? I haven't been outside in my front yard in a while, and I'm going to have my breakfast and my coffee outside. I'm going to sit at that table and I'm going to enjoy it. And that's what I did. And I was like, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to nurture myself. So you got to find the little self-care things that will make you feel like you're doing something for yourself during the week. And then on the weekend, have your fun.
You're right. And don't overschedule or else you're just going to run yourself into the ground.
Exactly. All right, guys. Thank you, as always, to our Heal Squad for being with us. We love you guys. And remember, be nice people, make good choices, and be present.